Sure, I can do that. Please share the sentence whenever you're ready.
Okay, and this young man was preparing to enter the university. Yusov, with whom he was staying for the time, was trying to persuade him to go abroad to the University of Zurich or Jena. The young man was still undecided. He was thoughtful and absent-minded. What does absent-minded mean?
Absent-minded means someone who is often distracted and tends to forget things because they're thinking about something else. It's like being in your own head. Does that make sense? Also, it sounds like you might have misread a few words in that passage.
What kind of words that I misread?
It sounded like you said Zurich and Jena, but the names are probably Zurich and Geneva. Also, the phrase is killed undecided should be is still undecided. Does that correct the sentence for you?
Yes, but in the book is Zurich, okay, but is Jena and not Geneva. What is Jena?
Ah, I see. Gena is another city, also in Europe, with a university. It might be pronounced differently than Geneva, but it's a similar context. So that part of the sentence makes sense then.
Okay, could you repeat the pronunciation of these two words, these two universities?
Sure thing. It's Zurich, Zurich, and Jena, Jena. Would you like to try pronouncing them?
Yes, Zurich and Jena.
That's perfect. You got them.
Okay, thank you. And what does absent-minded mean?
It means someone who is frequently lost in thought or preoccupied, so they might forget things or not pay attention. Does that make complete sense?
The last of worshippers were coming out of the church, bareheaded and crossing themselves. What does bareheaded mean?
Bareheaded means not wearing a hat or any other head covering. Does that clarify that for you?
Okay, the sentence was the last of the worshippers were coming out of the church, bareheaded and crossing themselves. What is the relevance in saying that the people were bareheaded in in this romance in this book that I'm reading?
That's a good question. In many cultures and traditions, particularly in the context of a church, being bareheaded is a sign of respect or reverence. Men, especially, often remove their hats before entering. So it paints a more complete picture of the worshippers' behavior and customs. Exactly. You got.
Our visitors were at once surrounded by beggars, but none of them gave them anything except young Kalganov, who took a 10 kopeck piece out of his purse and, nervous and embarrassed, God knows why, hurriedly gave it to an old woman, saying, "Divide it equally." None of his companions made any remark upon it, so that he had no reason to be embarrassed. But perceiving this, he was even more overcome. Okay, in this sentence, uh, why God knows why and the Kalganov should be embarrassed, and what those overcome mean.
That's a complex passage. God knows why is an expression that means the reason is unknown or mysterious. So it's saying Kalganov's embarrassment didn't have an obvious cause. And overcome here means he was overwhelmed by his feelings, perhaps even more embarrassed than before, despite no one noticing.
But why someone could be embarrassed by uh, s- be- giving money to beggars?
It could be for a few reasons. Perhaps there were social norms against doing that, or maybe he felt self conscious because his companions didn't. Sometimes drawing attention to yourself in that way can feel embarrassing, even when the act is kind. It's understandable to feel that way.
All at once there came up a bald-headed elderly man with ingratiating little eyes, wearing a full summer overcoat. And could you help me to understand better this sentence?
Certainly. It sounds like you might have misread a couple of words. Was it bald headed and ingrained? Could you please say those words again?
It's bald-headed and actually is ingratiating. Ingratiating.
Thank you for clarifying. Ingratiating means trying to gain favor or approval by charming or flattering someone. So the sentence describes an elderly man who is bald, has small, kind eyes, and is acting in a charming or flattering way.
And when and the sentence said that came up, a bald-headed elderly man, came up means to encounter or to encounter.
Yes, that's right. Came up means the man appeared or approached suddenly.
Lifting his hat, he introduced himself with a honeyed lisp as Maximov, a landowner of Tula. And what does honeyed lisp mean?
A honeyed lisp refers to a lisp, which is a speech impediment that sounds pleasant or charming, like honey. It's often used to describe someone's pleasant or persuasive voice. Also, it might have been lifting his hat instead of heart.
Then lisp is speech, is the same as a speech.
A lisp is a specific pronunciation issue, a type of speech, but not the same as speech in general. It's when someone has trouble with certain sounds, like S and Z.
Could you give me a possible translation to this in Portuguese?
In Portuguese, a lisp is called cesseio.
Is there another word just to that is the same as lisp in Portuguese? Because even in Portuguese, I don't know what ceceio is.
Understood. Cesseio, the act of speaking with a lisp, where sounds like S and C are pronounced differently, often like th in English. Is that clearer?
I get the idea, but um, know I don't know any word in Portuguese that is similar to this.
No problem. Sometimes direct translations are difficult. Think of it as falar com a língua presa, which literally means to speak with your tied tongue. Is that more familiar?
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help clarify that for you.
Father Zosima lives in the hermitage, apart 400 paces from the monastery, the other side of the copse. And what copse is? And Copse. What does that mean?
A copse, Copse, is a small forest or thicket of trees, so it's describing the location of the hermitage. Does that make more sense?
And you, Pyotr Alexandrovich, will you go too? Yes, of course. What have I come for but to study all the customs here? What those customs mean? Customs is the buildings and the or the I don't know.
That's okay. Customs means the established practices, traditions, or behaviors of a group of people or society. So, in this context, the person is studying the local traditions.
Oh, devil take them all. An outer show elaborated through centuries, and nothing but charlatanism and nonsense underneath, flashed through Musov's mind. Now take a look at this sentence here. Oh, devil take them all, an outer show elaborated through centuries, and nothing but charlatanism and nonsense underneath, flashed through Musov's mind. It appears that the Musovs is a kind of that not believing in the religion that they are taking in place.
That is quite a complex sentence. It sounds like it's from a literary or older text. Let's break it down a bit. You focused on the part that says, nothing but charlatan is nonsense underneath. The text says, nothing but charlatan is nonsense underneath. In simpler words, it means that everything that is shown is just deception or trickery, and the real truth is just nonsense. A charlatan is someone who pretends to know something or have power that they don't. Does that make more sense? Try
Um,
reading the sentence again.
Actually, I'm reading the Brothers Karamazov, and is
Ah,
I'm reading the excerpt of the when the guys are going to the church to an encounter, and one of the guys that Musovs say or think that, I don't know. I'm reading the sentence again. Oh, devil take them all. An outer show elaborated through centuries, and nothing but charlatanism and nonsense underneath, flashed through Musov's mind.
I see. It makes more sense now in the context of the book. Charlatanism means the practice of a charlatan, so deception or pretense. And when the sentence says flashed through Lysov's mind, it means that thought came to him quickly. Is there another part that is tricky?
It's not Lysov's, it's Musov's mind.
Oh, my mistake. Thank you for correcting that. It says Muzov's mind. It seems he has a critical view of what he is seeing.
So then there are loopholes, after all, to creep out of the hermitage to the ladies. What could you explain me the sentence? Loopholes? What those loopholes mean?
Certainly. The phrase loopholes refers to small openings or ways around something, often used to escape a rule or restriction. In this sentence, to creep out of the hermitage to the ladies suggests someone is secretly leaving a secluded place, the hermitage, to meet the ladies. So it implies a clever or sneaky way to escape obligations or rules.
To creep out of the hermitage to the ladies. To creep out could be could be saying this with another phrasal verb or something like that, another verb.
Yes, you could use different verbs, but creep out carries a specific meaning that isn't always captured perfectly. You could say slip out, which means to leave quietly, or sneak out, which also implies secrecy. Creep out suggests a slow and cautious movement, often to avoid being noticed. Does that make sense?
Yes, perfectly.
Great. Are you ready to look at the next part, or do you want to discuss something else?